whole range of therapies coming into the chat. It's really lovely. I was just saying with the people who joined the call very, very early on, therapist is such a generalized term, isn't it? For those of you who are here, you're just representing so many different treatments. And what the idea of tonight was really that we had the opportunity for you guys to put your heads together, share ideas from a therapist perspective, at a time when my heart just went out to you, as I said in the post that I put on Facebook. So many of you have just gone in and out of being able to do treatment several times in the course of the last 9 months, and it takes its toll when actually by definition you are people who want to be able to care for others. So I wanted there to be an arena where really this training is facilitated by you guys. I've asked a few people to share some thoughts as initial starters of things that they have done with their clients to stay connected. And then hopefully those of you who are struggling to stay connected with clients will get some ideas of how to begin to do that, because I think this lockdown situation comes and goes, but is probably here to stay for a little while now. And then those of you who've already had some connection with clients, maybe you'll go away with some new ideas that you hadn't thought of. So it's a place where in true Neal's Yard Remedy style, we get to copy and share everything, because there's no point in reinventing the wheel, is there? And then what I thought I'd do is every now and again just summarize, kind of pull together things into some bullet points so that you can keep track of the conversation. And what we'll do is pause every now and again, and you know, you'll have the opportunity to ask some questions of people who've been speaking. Is that good?
Yep.
Yeah, good. So who should we pick? Well, Lorraine, you were the first one in. How about we ask you, in your expertise, introduce yourself a bit first, in case people haven't seen the comments in the chat. But would you mind starting us off on how your perspective and the journey you've done over the last 9 months with all of this, your solutions? Oh, you're muted, Lorraine. There we go.
So I've been a consultant for nearly 11 years now. Makes me like feel really old. I'm a therapist for about 16 different therapies. And yeah, first of all, lockdown give me a bit of a break, actually. Give me a bit of a chance to sit back and reflect. But before I say any of this, I'm really aware that we're all in different situations financially. And I don't want to make any assumptions or sound flippant. Some of us have been able to get grants, some of us haven't. So I just want to acknowledge that really within the group. I did reopen when we were able to. I'm in Bristol, so that's where I'm based. I have to say it wasn't as enjoyable. I really enjoyed my therapies. Enjoy it so much. And this second lockdown, or this what we're in now, it's given me a chance to just reflect on what I actually want to do when I reopen. What it has done is given me lots more time to focus on my Neal's Yard Remedies side of my business, which has really developed during lockdown. So that's been a positive.
Great, thank you. Lorraine, do you want to go on and just talk about just expand on that last point a bit more? How has it been a positive, and what have you been doing to expand your
I think it's been a positive in that the program which yourself, for example, have put on during lockdown, and because I'm in the vulnerable group as well, I've had to shield, and it can become quite isolating. But the program and the training, the tea and chats, has really kept me sane, I have to say, through lockdown, and give me that real sense of connection. And I developed new skills. So Zoom workshops. Last March, somebody said we do a workshop on Zoom. I don't even know what Zoom was, you know. So I've actually sort of been coaxed to develop some new skills, which have been really great. And yeah, my confidence, I think, just having that time to focus more on my Neal's Yard side of my business. So that's been a real key in enabling me to keep in contact with clients and customers. So that's been a real positive. So I haven't feel like I've lost contact usually, even though I'm not able to deliver my therapies at the moment.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Ness if you'd speak now, if that's all right. Just kind of what's your journey look like, and what have you implemented?
Similar to Lorraine, really. In that I've been in it 10 years as well, Lorraine. And it's probably only been the past couple of years that I've really given myself a kick up the arse, because I haven't really needed to. And I was younger, weren't we all? So yes, it's changed a lot for me. It started with, obviously, this was the only thing I could do. It sort of progressed throughout the lockdown. So 3.0, I feel like, okay, I've got this now. I know what a Zoom workshop is. I can do that. And then people learn a little bit more as well. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that one-on-one time with clients, I don't always get the time to talk about the products as much as I would like to, or we can't go into as much depth because I've got another appointment. So it's been really lovely to be able to share that more intimately with people, and just give them something to look forward to. Like at the moment, everyone wants something to look forward to. They want something in the diary, and having a bit of positivity and a bit of pampering is a winner. It's kept me in touch with them all. I do go through all of my clients. I'm a little bit anal about it, but I go through every single one and contact at least 5 a day, just to check in. And I do that on like a rotation basis. That's literally just to check in. It's not, do you want to buy a lip balm? Just to see how they're doing. Because everyone, as you said, Lorraine, is in different positions. Some of them are young mums at home, they're really struggling. And others are retired and it hasn't really made a difference to them. So it's nice to have an extra excuse with Neal's Yard to check in and pop and see them as well, because now I'm delivering, then I still get to see them, which is nice. So did you want me to say any more, Sean?
Yeah, not for now, but you feel free to dip in as and when. I mean, really, this beginning bit is just to kind of get the conversation going. And I'm aware that for some of you, you've done a lot of connecting with clients over lockdown, and for some of you, you haven't done very much or any at all. So I know that everyone's coming from really different places. Claire Chalk, are you happy to add in a bit more or different from what the others have said? Thank you.
Yeah, I missed the very beginning, but yeah. So yeah, hi, I've been a consultant for 5 years now, and I'm also a reflexologist, and I've been a reflexologist, I think it's about 7 years now, and obviously, like everybody else, have been opening, closing, etc. A few things that I've done is very similar to Lorraine and Ness, is that I've kept in contact with a lot of my clients. Prior to the first lockdown, I had a lot of people that were on prepaid courses. So I would sell a course of 6 treatments where basically they paid for 5 and got the 6th one free. And I actually gave them the option, if they didn't want to come back for reflexology for whatever reason, or they didn't want to wait, that they could actually convert that and use it on Neal's Yard. And I had a few people take me up on that. And then at the moment, I'm actually not selling courses because of the current situation. So that was one way to sort of like, you know, keep their custom, but just give them sort of a few options as to what they can do. And I've also made sure that I'm very a technophobe, so I don't do Excel or PowerPoint or anything like that, but I have got contact lists in my own little way of how different clients want to be contacted. And then I've got some clients which have never ever purchased any Neal's Yard, and some which have purchased a lot. So I've made sure that I've contacted all of them and just let them know if there's been any sort of like big offers, particularly coming up to Christmas. I contacted a lot of them with regards to obviously shopping through myself. I think, like Ness said, it's been quite nice because a lot of them that do live on their own, if they live locally, I've been able to provide that local delivery and have a little chat with them, which I think they've really appreciated, particularly my older clients that live on their own, because I think it's not so much that they miss coming for treatments, which I'm sure they do, but I think they also miss that personal connection and just having somebody to chat to. So by being able to still talk to them, and I'm sure that I have got customers that are ordering things that they maybe do not need, but they almost doing it because, one, they want to support me, but also they sort of quite like that interaction that you get when you order something. I also sent all my good clients at Christmas a card. It wasn't really a Christmas card, it was just sort of like, thank you for your support card, and then offering them a discount if they shop with me in January and February. And I also send that to people that had never purchased from me to try and get some new customers that way. And also trying to include them on workshops, not just sort of having it just so that I keep my two sort of sides to the business separate. So rather than just having my Neil Jarre customers on workshops, I'm trying to incorporate my reflexology clients, particularly, sort of talking about the self-care. And I've done a couple of workshops where I have incorporated, so for example, in the facial one, because I'm also trained in facial reflexology, I've incorporated some facial reflexology points within the workshop to try and make it a bit of a mixture of both, and that's sort of gone down well. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it seems to be working. And I've actually got it, even during lockdown, I've had some clients that hadn't purchased Neil Jarre previously that are now purchasing it. So that's a good plus.
Yeah, I think that's one of the subtleties for you with reflexology, isn't it? Because obviously we've got a varying degree of using products in treatments. So whereas for you, Claire, probably Neil Jarre remedies weren't necessarily a key part of your treatment in reflexology. I know you use the products in your treatments, but there's a whole wealth of the range out there that in your one-to-one time with clients, you might not have time to talk through the detail of those products. And even for those of you who are using the products in facials or aromatherapy massage or whatever, again, there's a whole wealth of products around in the collection, the whole collection, that you're not actually using in their treatments from time to time. And so this is the opportunity perhaps to speak with relevance to everyday life of the things that are happening. The classic example that would be a good case in point would be the defense range, wasn't it? Actually, I know for many of you, promoting that to your clients because you wanted them to have natural and organic alternatives to the alcohol gels and sprays and things that were in all the other shops. So actually, where you wouldn't have used those products in the Defend and Protect range at all in your treatments, it was relevant to their lives, and therefore to be able to purchase those things from you and know that they're getting a healthy version, it was really important. But that's true too, isn't it, of shower gels, products to help you sleep, age well solutions for those of you who are not doing age well treatments, that kind of thing. So yeah. Okay, thanks Claire so much for that. Cressy, I wondered if you wanted to add anything to what you've heard. I know you missed the very beginning, but it'd be lovely to hear from you as well. And just while Cressy's unmuting, Cressy is Cressy Chandler, who runs the therapist Facebook group for all therapists in our team. So if you are not part of that, please stick your name in the messenger and we'll make sure that we can connect you up with that in Facebook. Perhaps Cressy, you could do a unapologetic plug with the title of your page, but yeah, I'd love to hear where you're at, because you've got an interesting home situation alongside your treatment business as well, haven't you, as well as being a senior.
Very interesting. Very interesting home situation. I'm just trying to find the name of the group so that ladies can actually find it. One moment. I think it's just called Cressy's NYRO Therapists, I think.
I'll look it up whilst you're talking.
Yeah, can you? Because I'm trying to multitask here, and my Zoom's being a bit slow and a bit funny tonight. Took me ages to come off mute. Hi, girls. I do have an interesting home situation, only in as much that I've got 3 kids, So I am homeschooling the two eldest, who are 9 and 11. The 11-year-old starts secondary school in September. And I have a very active 1-year-old. So he was born last Christmas. So he just turned 1 this Christmas. And of course, I've got, you know, my Neal's Yard business. So it's all quite busy. Yeah, it's been a really funny year, hasn't it? I mean, I look at things a little bit differently, I think, possibly to many of you, in as much that I wasn't going to be working anyway, because I was effectively on maternity leave, effectively. So Josh was born Christmas 2019. So my plan was certainly not to do anything before, say, April, May. And then, of course, by then, COVID had hit us and I couldn't work anyway. So my experience was more trying to motivate and inspire the therapists in my team. I'm lucky enough to head up quite a big team now with Neal's Yard Remedies, and to kind of motivate and inspire them and to get them to understand that there was money to be made in Neal's Yard Remedies. And, you know, I actually did quite a tough talking, strong, I don't know if it was a live, I can't remember now, Facebook Live or a video. And I put it on my therapist page. And I think I even uploaded it to Organic Originals, basically saying, guys, you know, you are missing a trick if you are not harnessing the Neal's Yard Remedies part of your business at the moment while you're in lockdown. And it is something that I feel really passionately about as a therapist, because, and I'm only saying this because I'm amongst other therapists, of course, and Sean. I wouldn't necessarily say this in front of other consultants because it would be unfair, but basically we have the edge. Absolutely, we have the edge as consultants. We really do. We have people, our customers and our clients, that come to us anyway. They are ready-made Neal's Yard Remedies customers. They come to us anyway. They are willing to trust us with their bodies, whether that's for a facial treatment, a bikini wax, a reflexology treatment, whatever it might be. They trust us with their bodies. They also pay us already. So for me, it's just a natural transition to then recommend a Neal's Yard Remedies product or 5 to them. And the whole process is so much more simple. You know, they pay us for the treatment and then they pay us for the product or products. And frankly, you know, like I say, if people are not harnessing that side of the business, I just think, my God, you're missing out on such a lot, not just income, but you're missing out on all the opportunities that we've had over the 3 lockdowns to reach out to clients, an excuse to reach out to clients. You know, I mean, just this week, I've popped some samples in the post to some clients, you know, and little wellbeing guides, things like that, just to say, hey, how you doing? You know, Happy New Year kind of thing. Because what else can we do, frankly? What else can we do? Like I say, it's slightly different for me anyway, because I wouldn't have been working over the past sort of year or so because of the baby. But I really feel quite passionately that those therapists that are not really embracing the Neal's Yard Remedies part of the business are missing out hugely. I've been with Neal's Yard for 8 years next month. And probably about 4 years into it, 5 years into it, the money I was earning with Neal's Yard overtook what I was earning in treatments. So I have been in the fortunate position over the last few years where my beauty business, I'm a beauty therapist, my beauty business and the money I earn from doing treatments supplements my Neal's Yard Remedies income and not the other way round. So if I can sit here as a mum of 3, I've had a mad few years. Sean knows this. I've been divorced. I've moved engaged again. You know, I've had a really, really busy few years. Those 8 years of my life have been busy, to say the least. You know, had another baby, etc., etc. If I can do this, then anyone can do this. And you can make some really decent money with Neal's Yard, even as a therapist, especially as a therapist.
Thanks, Cressy. Thank you. Okay, I just want to screen share. I've just got a few points that I've typed up as the others were talking. I just listed a few of the things that just came up there in conversation. I hope I've managed to summarise quite well what Lorraine and Ness and Claire and Cressy have shared. And thank you for that. And it's a good starter for 10. And what I'd love you to be doing is just thinking about your questions on any of the aspects that we've just talked about. So, you know, how exactly have people been engaging with their clients in a more personal way and getting a longer conversation with them? Or what do these virtual workshops look like? And what are the, you know, let's have an honest conversation where if that's a stumbling block for you or you've got hesitation, this is a place where you can talk that through and we can allay each other's fears. So any questions that have come out of what's been said, or the chance just to say yes, but then do it. This is the safe place to do that. So if that's the case, please just unmute yourself and go for it. This will be a much shorter session if nobody has any questions or doesn't say anything. So it's over to you. And actually, I asked these ladies just as a bit of a starter for 10, just to get the conversation going. But if others of you have got other things to contribute now, of other things that you've been doing, please, now is the time to share them. So it's over to you.
Can I just say, as the newbie?
Absolutely.
Hi, I've been with you, what is it, Lorraine? 2 days?
2 days, hooray!
Pam, that's amazing. Welcome to the Zoom.
Thank you. It's really interesting listening to what you're all just saying then, because you've all been able to contact your clients and keep in touch with them throughout all these lockdowns for a valid reason. I mean, I've been able to get in touch with mine, just say, hi, how are you? How are things with your neck or whatever? Because I'm a massage therapist, and just recently before or in and amongst the lockdowns, I've been doing a lot of sports therapy massage as well. So it's okay to be able to get in touch and say, oh, how's your neck and but I can't offer them anything else. That was all I could do, just kind of stay visible in that way. It's been really great listening to all the things that you're all just saying now, because you've had a valid reason to be in touch with them and something to, again, keep yourself visible and something to offer to them. I didn't have that, and it was really lovely just listening to, sorry if I got the name wrong, is it Cressy?
Yeah.
Just listening to what she was just saying then about how the Neal's Yard part of a business is really, really successful. And right now I haven't got anything because I can't massage and I can't do anything. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting stuck in and getting started.
Wow, Pam, that is such a powerful message, because that brings home to us again, well, you guys, because I'm not a therapist, just how much how many tools you've got in your toolkit to connect with people, because Pam, you're coming into this as someone who hasn't had that. No. And sometimes when we've got so much, we forget, don't we, just how good we've got it. And you've just put a complete light on. Get Pam to put a post in your therapist group tomorrow, Cressy, because I think you know, when people have been consultants for years and years, when you've got somebody who comes in and says, I haven't had what you guys have had, that is a wake-up call.
Join the group, Pam, and put that in the group. That'd be great.
Okay, will the link be on here later for me to join? Because I'm a technophobe as well.
Someone just popped it into chat.
So the link will be on here later.
Yeah, it's in the chat, Pam. And if not, Lorraine will get you sorted. Look, she's grinning from ear to ear. She's having a proud mummy moment. Look.
I love it. Yeah, Chris, I love being in Chris's group as well. It's great to be sharing with other therapists, you know.
It's just nice, isn't it? Just to connect with other therapists sometimes, because I think sometimes, please don't take this the wrong way, Sian, but sometimes the non-therapist leaders forget that the way therapists work with Neal's Yard Remedies is actually completely different to the way that non-therapists work with Neal's Yard Remedies. Do you know what I mean? You know, we are actually physically working with the product and putting it on people's skin. It's just a different ball game, really, and a lot of us are kind of trying to introduce it as part of an existing business. So like Pam was just saying, she's got an existing business. I had an existing beauty business when Neal's Yard Remedies sort of came into my life, as I'm sure it's the case with many of us, and then you kind of integrate it within that business. For me, it's kind of gone on this mad way where it's just taken over, which has actually worked out brilliantly for me, because I've been able to earn and everything throughout this crazy time and you know, having young children, etc. But for other people, they wouldn't necessarily want that. They are just wanting to maybe have an extra string to their bow, an extra income stream. And, you know, let's be honest, who doesn't want an extra income stream? But it's just nice to have the group, because we sort of talk in a slightly different way on the group with each other, and people ask questions, and whereas you wouldn't necessarily put that on another group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And, that's why I decided that we'd actually have me emceeing a training that I haven't actually planned training for, because there's no point in me training you guys in how I think you therapists should work, because I'm not one. The very best way to do this is for you to share your own experience and for me to collate stuff and summarize, because it's in the shared stories in this business that it's the most powerful. So can I just ask if anybody's got any other ways in which they've been connecting with clients to add to what has been said already?
Can I speak? I don't know if people can hear me.
Yeah, go for it, Yolanda. Yeah, we can.
Oh, all right. Hi. So I'm quite new to Neal's Yard, maybe like a couple of years, and that's because I wanted to change the products I use for all the therapies that I do. And I had loads of fun with the first lockdown with Neal's Yard stuff. Like I started doing videos, and I started doing, all my clients are buying a bit of products, not too much, but little bits, and I connected with them, and that did work. I watch a lot of Cressy's videos, and I find that quite inspirational. It sort of got me going, because I just thought, I just assume people don't have a lot of money to shop right now, and I didn't want to sort of be trying to, and then she changed that, and I realized that's not the case. So what I'm trying to do now, and I don't know if anyone does this training, I want to do some facials on yourself, demonstrate how to do a facial on yourself with the Neal's Yard.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out, well, I'm just like figuring out how I can do it on myself and showcase the products a little bit better.
I love that. So for you guys, it's like tying a tie on somebody else. You can do a facial on somebody else's face, but you can't do it on your own.
It's exactly like that. And I'm just trying to think it through, and I'm like, well, I've found out how to work IGTV, and I found how to do a couple of things, and I set up a YouTube channel, but I just was like, oh.
Right. Okay, at this point, I'm going to ask Rose to speak, because she is amazing at online treatments. And I was brilliant. Like, that was one of my moments, Cressy, like you just said, some of us just don't think like therapists. And when Rose started advertising her online treatments, I remember thinking, how do you do an online treatment? I can work out an online workshop, but well, is she like Elastigirl, where her hands just come through the screen and just get hold of you? How does this work? So Rose, over to you. You can solve Yolanda's problem.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if I'm Elastigirl, but yeah, I can stretch in many ways. Yeah, so for me, I really haven't been able to do Zoom workshops because of the dynamic at home. It's not a very soundproof house, and there's not enough space for me to guarantee that I can do that. So that's why I started doing kind of self-care sessions, really. And a while ago, I would write down sort of like a theme, or follow a theme. So start with like a cleanse, and then maybe then the next day do advertise something different. But then I kind of lost track of where I was, so I just started freestyling it really instead. So I would just go with what sort of inspires you that day, or what's seasonal, or like if you've got really dry skin, or if there's some kind of skill that you have with your facials, like acupressure, for example, you could demonstrate some of that with the tension around the jaw from wearing masks and things. The self-treatment stuff is more something that I do with my clients as a one-to-one. So I'll have a consultation with them, and then sort of discuss, what's going on with them, and obviously know a bit about their body and what's been going on with them. And then I'll prescribe a few things, which might include Neal's Yard products. It might include supplements from Neal's Yard as well. I'm also a Cytoplan practitioner, so I can recommend other supplements too. And then there's like self-massage techniques that you can teach them. It's just kind of nice to tailor it to people, and it kind of draws people in, and they sort of start getting interested in what you're doing really, and what products you're using. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Thank you.
All right.
Could I add something as well?
Go in with it. I've got some ideas, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. Yeah.
That's great.
Just I was just going to say, following on from what Rose just said, Rose's videos are beautiful, and she just makes everything look so lovely and easy. But one thing I've been doing is, it sounds really silly possibly to us, but I've had great feedback from clients and customers, is I've just been doing, just obviously on myself in my bathroom, things like, you know, discussing, say, the importance of cleansing, properly cleansing, a thorough cleanse, a double cleanse. And then I did another video on the importance of exfoliating. And, you know, why exfoliation is so important, do you know what I mean? And how to exfoliate. It sounds like, you know, like something that we could all do in our sleep, of course, but actually to the average person, they don't necessarily know that they should be exfoliating a couple of times a week and why it's important and how it helps the skin, etc., etc., etc. And also another video I did recently was on the differences between serum and moisturizer. Now, again, we all know that, but the average woman out there, I've got to be honest with you, actually doesn't. It's actually quite, it's shocked me how little people actually know, and the differences between a facial oil and a serum and things like that. So I've done some really, really like back to basic videos, which I've uploaded onto my Instagram and to my Facebook business page. And I've had really good feedback from them, and I've got a few sales from it as well, although that actually wasn't my angle. Obviously, I'm using the Neal's Yard products in my treatment, in the videos, and I talk about them, but my aim really was for education. And I did one in the summer on SPF and the whole kind of, I won't go into it now, of course, and I'm sure most of you know it, but you know, the double-edged thing with SPF and everything, and why our products don't contain SPF and all that. And again, such amazing feedback, really, really good feedback. So that might be another option. Just take things right back to basics, you know, film yourself talking about one aspect of skincare, you know, just one little aspect, whether that's cleansing or moisturizing thoroughly or makeup removal or whatever it might be. Another one I'm going to do is how to apply eye product properly, because it amazes me how much women just chuck on their eyes. I'm like, no, you're going to give yourself eye bags, you know, and just, you know, just to kind of educate people that you only need such a tiny amount and to just pat it on and all that sort of stuff that we know, but most people don't. But yeah, that's worked for me. You're welcome to follow me on Instagram or anything if you want to, just to get some ideas. It's Cressy Organically on Instagram, and my videos are on there. It's just another option.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Yolanda, did your question get answered fully on yet?
Yes, it did. Because I've got to just think through myself of how I'm going to demonstrate the physical side and learn more about the product side. So I think that will give me a bit of inspiration, because you know, it's quite a few months of not doing any treatments, and people do want to engage. I watched a video the other day, and then I sat and gave myself a facial, and I thought, I'm a therapist and I have had to look at somebody else's video to think, oh, why don't I just go and give myself a facial? And I did, and I thought, and I massaged my face. Oh, it felt wonderful. And I just thought, I need to learn how to demonstrate that, because if I'm a therapist and I need to be prompted to do a bit of nourishing myself, then everyone's going to enjoy that, aren't they? So I thought, if I can do something people enjoy.
Yeah, and I think also think about what you're doing. You're doing a gentle sort of personal treatment on your face, but you're doing it so that everyone else can copy you from home who aren't therapists. So don't try and think of it as doing a treatment on yourself. Think of it as a routine that is going to be good for anybody to do from home. So whilst you might incorporate, I don't know, some facial massage techniques or something like that, you're not actually encouraging them to do treatments on themselves because they're not trained.
Yeah, no, so it's just basically the process of, you know, because I'm not a beauty therapist, actually, I'm holistic, but I do holistic facials.
Yes.
But I think the nurturing and the self-care side of things is really important. If people buying products as a buy from just demonstrating, that's good. No, you can't. I mean, a facial massage is you wouldn't do like a full pressure point thing, but you can do some basic moves that they can copy. You know, I know, like, it's not just, yeah, it has to be kept quite simple, like Cressy's videos are. So they're getting the information about the products, but you can't really do the technical massage on the face that you can't really demonstrate. You can't get them to copy that, all of that. So it has to be simplified down. Yeah, I think I've yeah.
I guess it's
I
also,
live on my own, so I haven't got anyone to do it on, to
No, but
demonstrate it.
you
Yeah.
don't need to. Just connect with some clients and say, how do you fancy a bit of
One-on-one.
self-care this evening, and we'll do this. Now, I'm not a therapist, but I just want to pick up on the workshops idea, because what you're describing is what we call a virtual workshop. So
Oh,
I've got
yeah.
one tomorrow night with a new joiner who's not a therapist, and we're using her starter kit product. Now, most of those are facial products. So actually what will happen is everybody's got samples of the starter kit products, and they will be able to give themselves a bit of time out. We'll be on Zoom for about an hour, and they'll go through a cleanse, you know, all the different products. I don't need to go through it all, but cleanse, we're not using toner, but we're going to do facial polish and treatment and moisturize, and then we'll feature Wild Rose Beauty Balm and blah, blah, blah. You know, actually that's not a treatment, but we want to encourage people. The end aim is that people are using our beautiful products every day in their lives, because I know that when they wash their hands with geranium and orange hand wash tomorrow night, they're going to go, oh, because that's what that product does. So it's not a treatment, it's just experience of the product on a day-to-day basis. And if you can get past the technology stuff and the fact that you're not doing treatments, you're just gathering clients together to enjoy a bit of self-care time. As Rose said, it's self-care, it's not a treatment. It's never going to be the same as actually being on Rose's couch, but that connection will stay with Rose, and then they'll book treatments as and when she's open again. And that's the aim. It's not that you're trying to substitute your beautiful treatments with something.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go for it, Rose.
Do you mind if I add something? Right, so yeah, when you're doing your videos and things, what I would suggest is you take a photograph of what you're using first, because then you can maybe use that instead of your video if you don't like what you've done. What I tend to do is I'll video it rather than do a live. I'm not that brave with lives.
I will definitely be videoing it. I'm not doing anything live.
Especially because of the children making lots of noise. The other day, my son was running around shouting bum, so I'm not putting that up. So yeah, doing things like that. But like Cressy said, picking a range of products, or your your hero product, for example, or you might use some of the Create range, perhaps, if you're more holistically minded, and you might create a blend to help with stress or with sleep or something like that. If you just look at the themes that people are struggling with and use something like that, really. And I've found that to be quite helpful.
Holistically, so I should check this out. I've been infusing organic sunflower oil with herbs, but I would like to, I don't know, I should look into, was it you that said you did the herbal side, supplements? Or?
Me, I do supplements, but the herbal side is something I've dabbled in,
Andy, can I just ask that you pick up that conversation with Rose separately, because it's not relevant to everybody in the call. Is that okay? I love it, because we're all going to network with each other, and I really like that. But yeah, for the purposes of tonight. Does anybody else have any questions on what's been said so far?
I don't have any questions. Sorry.
Go on, Ness.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to echo what Cressy said about stripping it back. I'd literally just scribbled down what we think is really obvious and simple. Other people have no idea, or it just goes completely over their head. So forget that you're a therapist and just pretend you're giving yourself a fit, or not even pretend. Like this morning, I put on my Instagram my actual morning skincare routine, and I've had loads of response from that. A few weeks ago I did one with me just putting the hair mask on. I speed it up so it's not just me there for 10 minutes like this. I don't want people falling asleep, but it just then means that if you're stripping it back and making it really simple, it's more relatable for people. They can think, oh, I can totally do that, rather than here's a 30-minute facial massage routine that they're probably not going to do and not going to engage with. So really keep it simple and not take your therapist hat off, but you know what I mean? Just don't overthink it. There's a lot of products to explore, so just make it super simple. People are 100 times more likely to use them and buy them if it is simple, as opposed to if they think, oh, I have to be a therapist to even know how to use that, because that's totally not true.
Go on. Matt needs some time to watch his programs and stuff.
Let me just mute Cressy. Hang on. There we go.
That's okay. I'm done. Don't worry.
Cressy, I was just muting you because you were busy talking to Lexi, I think. Okay, any other questions anybody's got before we carry on? Or anything else to add? Lorraine?
Yeah, just for me, we've got so many resources in our consultant area as well, that there's lots of information there, and sometimes, you know, even after being a therapist this long, I think I don't know anything about anything really. But the best thing to talk about, I find, to customers is things you use and you enjoy, and you don't have to have a whole wealth of knowledge because it's authentic. So, you know, doing Instagram or just a conversation with somebody about something you're using and how you found it is a really authentic engagement with people. And I think that's what people connect with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to screen share again. I've got a bit of a summary for those of you who are making notes. So let's just do this from the start. There you go. So make the most of reasons that we have to be in touch with clients. You know, just if you doubt whether this is something you should be doing, remember what Pam said. We've got, all of us now got the privilege, and Pam's perspective was to have been without that. You've got space to engage with people in a different way than you normally do in treatment. So it really is about thinking about things differently. You can have personal connection with them, and for a longer time. That was really interesting, because I guess I think of one-to-one time as really quality time, but for most of that time, your client isn't speaking to you. And well, I've had treatments with some of you, and I have trouble stringing a sentence together at the end, let alone make choices about product. So actually, you've got longer and better personal connection than you would have in the little treatment time. Offers as they come along, because people are a bit, you know, money conscious at the moment. And actually, if you don't put it out there and they love Neal's Yard Remedies and they're like, oh my goodness, that's the one she uses in her treatments, they are going to buy it from somewhere else. Because certainly before I was a consultant with Neal's Yard Remedies, I went for massages and things. It never occurred to me to buy products from the therapist. As far as I was concerned, the products were the ones that she used in a treatment. And it was only when I went to a treatment in a shop where they were obviously on commission for selling afterwards that I realized that some people have, you know, a retail to clients perspective. So actually, offers, your shop needs to be open if you want them to purchase from you. But also what those offers do is it means that it nudges them in the direction of organic and natural choices where they might not make them otherwise. And that links in with the video stuff that was being talked about just now by Cressy. Cards to say thank you and to stay in touch. You know, we've got our wellbeing guide. They're 10p each. The power of that, and a personally written note in the post to each of your clients, perhaps inviting them to a virtual workshop or a self-care session, whatever you want to call them, would be really lovely. And then not everybody wants to connect in a group. You know, some people will just want one-to-one time with you, and they might just want samples in the post. You know, they might still want, for instance, the training I did the other night on winter skin. They might not come to a winter skin workshop, but they might like the winter skin samples because it's relevant to them right now in this season. But absolutely the workshops to connect with products, because those themes are are themed monthly. If those of you haven't realised this, we've got themes each month that Neil Jard Remedies are going to be supporting with marketing images for social media. But it also means that we've got workshop training to each of those themes each month. So whether or not you actually run the workshops or you're using that information for sampling and talking to your clients or self-care sessions, doesn't really matter. It would just be sensible to tap into those monthly themes. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, speak to your upline leader, ping me a message, or watch the Jumpstart sessions that were recorded from the beginning of the week, because last week, because we talk about it in there. And your clients in those times have got the chance to do a deeper dive into the benefits of our products. Maybe this is their year for choosing organic. This is their year for understanding how essential oils are so beneficial to them, especially in this season. My goodness me, I'm getting through Women's Balance like there's no tomorrow. How is anybody managing without women's balance in their lives? Ladies, we have a mission to accomplish. And then just more detailed conversations. You've actually got time to invest in their lives and in their skincare issues and their products that they're using day to day in a way that a treatment time doesn't allow. Okay, self-care treatments as a slight alternative to the workshops, but I think they're fairly similar, but you just go with what you fancy. They can join in with samples or their little videos that you do that you send out. It's up to you. But all of that encouragement of people to use our products every day. And then I love that idea that various people have shared about short videos for education. Cressy, thank you for inspiring the beginning of that. And I just jotted down some of the things that people were talking about. And then I added one at the end. You know, if I'm a client of yours, why should I buy £12.50's worth of hand wash from you? What is different about our hand wash? Because my hands might be dry and cracked and sore from using antibacterial hand wash. But actually, I want you to sell me the features and benefits of that product. You're not selling me the product, you're selling me the features and benefits, and then I'll decide whether I want to invest in that purchase. And then also just actually using this time to invest in the Neil Jard Remedies part of your business. Somebody said earlier on, I think it was Ness, that actually Neil Jard Remedies was an aside and her treatment business was the priority. And now the treatment business is shut down for a little while. You've got the time to really think, okay, what is this about and how can this be, yes, as Cressy said, another income stream alongside, but also a wider holistic message to your clients, because if they're using the products day to day, they're still going to come to you for treatments, but they perhaps you've got an area to expand this into their lives at this time like no other. And growing your customer base is a perfect way to be marketing your treatment business when you're not in business, because people who are buying the products from you through the things that, you know, in the screen before, the ideas we've just shared, they could become your clients for afterwards. And it'll be customers who invite customers. So get your clients to invite friends to your self-care sessions and to the workshops. Encourage followings on social media and stuff. It is quite degrading what some people will do for a few samples. So maximize it, and you know, and be building your client / customer base now. Yeah, in promoting the products in whatever ways you're going to do that, you're going to be helping others to make good choices, but you're also creating another income stream for yourself. And economically at the moment, it's just all on shifting sand, isn't it? You know, what we thought was secure is not as secure as we thought. So it's a good idea not to have all of our eggs in one basket. And then I just put a couple of other things in there. One of them, I think Lorraine mentioned, using this time to explore the resources available. Maybe it's just time to think, goodness, I just need to extend my knowledge beyond my treatments and beyond the few products that I know, and just what else is out there. Maybe it's now time to think a slightly different way. Those of you who perhaps haven't entertained online events for clients, for many, many people, it's working. So why would it not for you? And as Cressy said, you'd be nuts not to find out, because you have got a massive potential. But also actually inviting other people to join. Over half of our consultant base are not therapists. So who in your client base could actually do with being part of your business and being part of what we do? And you seeing that as a longer term investment. So you invest in a few people now who are working alongside you in Neal's Yard Remedies. I'm actually going to ask you, Cressy, to talk about this from the perspective of some kind of informal pension plan, because you are absolutely doing it as a therapist, and just the crossover of income versus treatments, if you wouldn't mind. It would be good to hear your views on that. So if I stop the share there and hand over to Cressy, I just wanted her to talk a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, some people have heard this before. I certainly don't want to bore anyone, but in a nutshell, I took on Neal's Yard Remedies. I'd been looking for a brand to use with my treatments. And, you know, my background is in salons and spas, etc., etc. I went self-employed. I was looking for a nice brand to use. I couldn't really find anything that kind of ticked all the boxes. Long story short, I met my upline, Lucy Beckford, at a charity event. She said, "Did you know you could open an account with Neal's Yard, blah, blah, blah." I said, "No, I didn't." Fabulous. Took me a long time to think about it, but I finally did join. And I honestly did join just to use the products in my treatments, to the point where I wasn't even really thinking about retailing them to my clients particularly. You know, I thought if someone likes a product that I'm using on them and wants to buy it, then great, bonus. But my plan was just to kind of have it so that I could use it on them. Within 2 weeks of taking it on, I had got quite a big customer order together, about £300, because people just loved it. They absolutely loved it. Obviously, we're a very well-known brand, etc., etc., etc. About 6 months down the line, the penny dropped that actually, even if I was working every morning, every afternoon, every evening, doing treatments, selling Neal's Yard, running myself ragged, which actually was at the time, two young children, my income was going to top out. It just was going to top out at some point, you know. There's only one of me. So the penny dropped that actually, if I started to grow a team and to sort of introduce other therapists and other people to the brand, and start, you know, as I say, you know, team building and growing that way, that actually there would be more of us. And then I would be paid by the company to look after my team. And it's just an extra sort of income stream again, really. So about 6 months after I joined, I introduced a lovely lady who's a reflexologist, Julie, and she is still with me. She is still in my team. And then I started mentioning it to other therapists I knew. I started telling them about the benefits of having an account with Neal's Yard Remedies. And that's exactly how I worded it, because that's effectively all we've done. We've opened an account. And of course, we know as therapists that makes sense. You know, in a salon, I had an account. I was the salon manager. We had an account with Dermalogica. We had an account with Jessica for our nail varnishes. So for me, that kind of terminology just rang true. So I had an account with Neal's Yard Remedies that I would buy the products, you know, for a discount and use them in my treatments, and then sell them at full price to my clients, and obviously, you know, make the commission. And I started just explaining that, basically, and I started with other therapists. I think my first 10, 12 recruits were other therapists, because they spoke my language, they understood me, they could see it was working for me. And then gradually I mentioned it to a few other people. My mum's friend joined, a lady at the school joined, do you know what I mean? And I started to kind of slowly branch out and introduce other people to my team. And I remember when I became team leader, I had 16 people in my team. And then I remember sort of a couple of months later, sort of waking up and checking my genealogy and realizing I actually had 50 people in my team. And I was like, wow, that's kind of gone a bit nuts. And then obviously your recruits start to recruit, and then it starts to get even bigger. And I remember waking up one day and realizing I had 150 people in my team, and it just kind of kept growing. And now I honestly, sounds awful, but I honestly couldn't really tell you how many people I've got in my team. You know, I don't know. I really don't know. Some are obviously more active than others. I would say between 1,500 and 2,000, something like that. But as I say, some are a lot more active than others. I've got a big downline with a lot of leaders under me now, including the incredible Lisa Davis, who is one of our ambassadors. You may have heard of Lisa. Some of you might be in Lisa's team, and she's phenomenal. And she's been a massive asset to my business because she's just brought in so many people in her own right to my downline. But yeah, I mean, it got to a point where, I'm going to be honest, it got to a point where I was juggling a lot. I had 2 very young children. I was working a lot doing my treatments. I was working while they were at school. Then I was picking them up, doing the whole dinner, bath, bed scenario. And then I was going out 3 nights a week as well to see clients in the evening, because I'm actually a mobile therapist. I was barely seeing my husband at the time, and it was really, really stressful. And on top of that, I was juggling my Neal's Yard Remedies business as well. And I realised that something had to give. Really, something had to give. Obviously, it couldn't be my children, of course. So I decided that actually long term, I would be a lot more sensible to concentrate on Neal's Yard Remedies than on my therapy business, because at the time I was, say, I don't know, mid-30s, 36, 37, maybe, something like that. And I just thought, I remember waking up one day thinking, Christ, you know, in say 12, 13 years, whatever it was then, I'm now 41, but whatever it was then, I remember thinking, crikey, in 12, 13 years, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be 50. Do I still want to be schlepping around Surrey, which was where I lived at the time, carrying my, you know, my mobile couch, which was flipping heavy, even for a mobile one, bending over, doing pedicures, doing massages, etc. As we all know, much as we love what we do, and I do absolutely love what I do, don't get me wrong, I love being a therapist, I love that hands-on, you know, contact with clients. But we all know it is very physical. And I just knew that there would come a time in my life where I just couldn't do it anymore. I just knew I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. My eyes were getting tired. And when I was doing sort of close-up work, like doing nails, for example, or doing eyelash tints, I was actually struggling a bit as well. And I was having to get a prescription for stronger glasses and all this. I won't bore you, but basically I was realizing that, you know, I can't necessarily do this forever. Whereas Neal's Yard Remedies, on the other hand, is so much easier in as much that I can do it from home, from my laptop, from my phone, with my children here, which is exactly what I've done throughout lockdown. And I can make money that way. So I'm so glad I made that decision, because now I do make a proper wage every month from Neal's Yard Remedies. And I don't just mean a bit of pocket money, I mean a proper wage. And when my husband and I split up, I was a single mum for a few years, and I look, you know, I was able to pay the bills and look after myself and my 2 children on what I earned with Neal's Yard Remedies. I then topped it up by working a couple of days doing treatments as well. So obviously it's lovely to have that extra income, but I've always viewed the treatment, well, I say always, in the last few years I've viewed the treatments, as I said earlier, as extra. That's kind of my supplementary income. Neal's Yard Remedies is my main income.
Okay.
And it's been great. And but I just want to say there's no reason why anybody else can't do it as well. You know, there's no magic formula. I'm nobody special, you know, you could all do it. It's just a case of team building, really.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I guess the main message there really is about the crossover from the exhaustion of treatments into income that runs alongside that for when you want to reduce your treatments for whatever reason, but to be able to keep your hand in with clients and keep the holistic message when the day comes when you don't want to be doing treatments so much, then this is an opportunity to do that and to run the 2 in parallel. Claire, anything to add?
Sorry, my internet's going in and out. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. I just wondered if you had anything to add as someone else who's also making those choices.
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo everything that Cressy's just said, really, and really make the most of our resources. Like the wellbeing brochure is amazing. I mean, like you say, it's, you know, it's not a big outlay of money at all, but just to send that out to people. You're really going to get the, you know, the benefits back from it. And yeah, just basically my 2 things I would say are be consistent, keep doing what you're doing every day.
Oh, your internet's dodgy, Claire. Claire, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you could just put your two tips, your two top tips.
And not just, you know, sort of saying, oh, do you want... Can you not hear me?
No, it was dipping in and out. Do you mind just typing your two top tips into the chat?
Yeah,
That'd be
that's
really good.
fine.
And then
Yeah, I've got real internet issues, sorry.
That's fine. I'm just aware that we've come up to our hour. It's 9:30. It's time to wrap it up. But I really hope it's been a good trigger for conversation. I'd love you just, before we finish, just to put into the chat the thing you're going to take away and implement with your clients, or your light on moment, your nugget of information. Thank you to those that have shared. And I'm just aware that lots of you haven't spoken. I hope that's because you've just been absorbing it all. But apologies, absolute apologies if you are absolutely doing all the things that we've talked about and I just didn't happen to know your story. It's not that I want to single out people, but obviously within the team there are stories that I hear more of from some people than others. But if you've got other things that would just help other therapists, please do let me know. But yeah, into the chat, let's just have a look at some of the things people are going to do. So Claire's top two tips: personal connection and be consistent. Those are the two. So posting out wellbeing guides with a sample. Say I'm doing online one-to-ones. Lovely. Contact clients directly. Okay, well, hopefully we've also inspired a few of you, I hope, into doing some, some self-care sessions or some online workshops. If you're not quite sure and you need a bit more convincing, be in touch with your upline leader, ping me a message, whoever. Don't let, I don't know, stand in your way. At least make an informed decision, make it an intelligent one, and give me the chance to persuade you into a few things, because you're missing out. And I think one of the most powerful parts of the evening for me was what Pam said. So let's just remember the privileges that we have, and hear from somebody who's been a consultant for 2 days, who thought she'd just landed in a beautiful space. It's lovely. So lovely to share an hour with you guys. I have recorded this, so if there are other therapists that you've got connection with in our team that you've recruited, please pass on the recording as well, so that we can share the tips with them. All right, and make sure you join Cressy's therapist page. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.